Welcome to Get Moving TV. I'm Dr. Chris Landon and I serve as your host. One of the things we have here in Ventura is a rich history in terms of music, things that have come through here. We have festivals at our local county fairgrounds. Out in Ojai we have festivals. And with me today is Ross. And Ross, we were talking earlier just about RoadShowRevival and America and what we're trying to do here in Ventura. So tell me about what you're up to.
Yeah, we have our company RoadShowRevival. It's our 4th annual. We pay tribute to Johnny Cash, Cindy's father. And you know, the music today for the kids and the generation today, we're capturing, you know, the icons in the past to revive their spirit and continue to share that with today's generation.
Well, I think that's, you know, it's exactly right. You have all these little punk things going on, and you know, I didn't have to use my AK-47 today. It's just not the same. It's not the way Johnny would capture emotions. He could read, I don't know, he could read a newspaper and you'd feel something from it. So how do you go about doing that? Who are your artists and who's coming and where are you going to do this? Yeah,
this year it's going to be June 16th at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. And like I said, it's our 4th annual this year. We have Wanda Jackson. She's going to be headlining. She was on Sun Records along with Johnny and Elvis as well. And she's considered the queen of rockabilly, and she's still around doing her thing. I got to see her a couple months back, and she really puts on a great show. And again, you know, keeping her spirit around and sharing that with. We have 12 other bands as well, so we have a lot of tribute bands and 2 stages this year. We're going back to 2 stages we have 6 local bands on one stage, and then we have the headliners and some great tribute bands on the other.
You keep looking off to the side here. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Cindy. Who are you? Hi, I'm
no,
Cindy. I'm Johnny's daughter from his first marriage to Vivian.
You had it right the first time. I'm Cindy Cash.
Oh, no. I can't talk like that. No, can't do it. Tried.
So you grew up out by Lake Casitas, is that?
I grew up in Casitas Springs.
Yeah.
Big town of Casitas Springs, California.
Yeah.
Between Ventura and Ojai.
I actually met you when you were a small child, actually.
That's what somebody said.
Yeah.
Did you come to our home?
Uh-huh. Yeah, my dad was...
On a doctor's call, probably?
No,
there was 4 of us.
I was a teeny tiny little person back then. I may look elderly.
I was going to say, you don't look old enough to have come on a doctor's call.
No, my dad was in the music business. And
who was your dad?
Landon. He was the
Landon.
chief of PR at RCA Records. And so you have...
My gosh.
I'll tell you a little story.
Yeah.
So my dad started out at USC in journalism, and what do you do in journalism? We got to go to New York City, and so he ended up working at a place called Hill and Range.
I know Hill and Range very well.
Albert Rock Brothers there, and hillbilly music and range music, Gene Autry and the like, and then they sent him out to Tennessee.
So he worked for Hill and Range.
He worked for Hill and Range,
which is one of Dad's publishing companies to this day, still.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
So
I know that because I see things in the mail from them.
So they sent him out to Tennessee to look around at places, at country festivals and bars.
Wow.
And so he came back.
They didn't tell me that before I got here.
Well, that's why
I have a history with you here.
Well, we have a long history, our girlfriend. So I ended up going down age 5 with my dad down to Memphis to meet up with this person they thought was going to be might be able to sell some Hill and Range records and songs. And so we went to his mother's little house, and this 19-year-old kid got bored and came out, and Elvis nailed a dartboard to his mother's front door, and Elvis and I played darts for the next half hour.
Wow.
Then the next day, we went to this teeny tiny little recording studio where they had the big Sennheiser mics, and those huge old mics.
With the big sun-looking thing?
That's that big sun-looking thing. And they had to get the mic just so, kind of like we're mic'd today, and singer here and the drum there and just a little snare so you wouldn't overwhelm the bass.
Tiniest little room in the world. Have you been there lately over the years? Oh, I was there just a few months ago. Still looks exactly the same.
Anyway, out came this man, and I was being kind of off in the corner, and they'd given me a ruler to make things. So
Oh my gosh.
on a record by somebody you might know, I walked the line. If you listen real carefully to the first one, that's me tapping away on my little ruler in the background. So
You were keeping the beat.
I was keeping the beat, and that
Wow.
engineer shook that tape recorder. Going, what is wrong here? So anyway,
That is amazing.
but in your house, I think you probably have some memorabilia too.
A little bit.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you have there? How do you inspire this man to keep up this?
Oh, if I talk to Ross and he starts like going, oh, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. And then I just say, well, just come on over and we'll talk about it. And he'll come over and I'll start reading him letters Dad wrote me when I was about 6 or something that Dad, something, some inspiration. He would write letters once in a while. And every New Year's Eve, he wrote himself a letter talking, hey, John, you did this. Let's do it different this next year. And one year he came downstairs, we were in Jamaica at our home there, and he came downstairs and he said, I didn't write myself a letter this New Year's Eve, I wrote you one. And it's dated at 11:50 p.m. on New Year's Eve, I think it was 1989. And it's basically just inspiration for me. I was 19, 20 years old, growing into a womanhood, and I let Ross read those kind of things, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's why we're doing this."
That's why we're putting up
yeah.
with all of that.
The picture. But about once a week, he needs a little uplift here.
Yeah, early on in the festival days, it was further in between, and things were a little bit easier then. And now, as the years go on, things, we've added a lot to it. We raised the bar, and like I said, depending on the day or the week, the team met up there last night and just kind of lifted everybody up. And
There's not a lot of people working on it, so it's a lot of work for a few people.
yeah.
And then you end up usually with sponsors because it's hard to cover the cost of these things. Who are your sponsors? Not
Correct.
Plug them.
Yeah, we're working with Budweiser. They've been with us since day one, and Guitar Centers. They do all of our.
Got to have
backline
beer at a
amp.
festival.
And guitars too.
Yes, and guitars and amps, and we work with Amtrak. Food Share is one of our nonprofits we work with, and yeah, we're blessed in that area, and I'm learning myself when you give back and the things that come forth from it, and yeah, it's a delicate balance. Every year it reminds me of things, what not to do, what to do, and make sure that we turn over every stone that we can to make it a success.
Well, Cindy, you probably have a big Rolodex too there. Some people you've grown up with. And
Well, last
can give
year
a
I
call.
called, I wanted to get Chris Christopherson. But they're the kind of people, Chris and Dad were like brothers. And when I called, I was, I'm not a booking agent, so when I call, it's just basically for a favor. Hey, we were having a festival honoring Dad's music, you want to come? And when I called Chris last year, he said, isn't that Father's Day weekend? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, where else should I be than with you on Father's Day weekend? He came and did it for nothing. And he did it and his part of what we would have paid him, he gave to Food Share and to the Battered Women's Shelter, which was one of my dad's favorite charities. And he said, you pick the charity, and that's who I'll do it for you and for them. And he came and it was great. And this year I've got secrets that I'm not telling yet. So, but we're working on it. There's other people maybe coming that we're kind of not ready to announce quite yet.
So at home, do you have gold records at home then? And
Well, all of us children got our share of them. He had plenty to go around, thank God. So we each got them. About 3 weeks before my dad passed, he received his double platinum for Folsom Prison Blues in the mail, and he personally gave that to me before he passed away. I lived with my dad the last 3 months of his life, so we were pretty close too. I was an epitome of a daddy's girl.
aw,
Yeah,
well, that's the sweetest thing.
proud of it. It's okay.
Yeah. You have some shirts in the closet there?
A few.
Yeah.
Everybody's like saying, Cindy, don't you want this sterling silver? And I I want that bandana Dad used to wear all the time, you know? I mean, at that time, you're a little over sentimental, but that's okay.
Okay, well, Ross, tell us, besides the secret talent, who else is playing at the festival? Name off those local bands.
You know what? I'll start with the Get Rhythm stage is our main stage, and we have Wanda Jackson. She's going to be headlining. We have Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats. He has a trio that he puts together, and Tim Polecat is going to be joining him, and Phil Alvin from the Blasters, big LA 80s band. And then we have Big River. They're a tribute band here in Ventura that's one of the favorites. And we have With a Bible and a Gun, a band from Hollywood they're great as well.
They do all Dad's songs only. And
Yeah.
so does Big River.
Yeah, the tribute bands.
They don't
And-
try to be him, they just sing his songs. That's really great.
So on your Facebook page, can we link to YouTube and all this?
Yeah, you can
Social
go
marketing
on
thing.
the RoadShow Revival, and you can get updated on all the latest and best things that we have going on at the time, the announcements and whatnot. And further the bands, we have a band called J.R. Black. They do Johnny Cash in French.
In French.
Unbelievable. And got these girls called the Johnnies, all-girl band coming from New Zealand. And then we have the local showcase stage. We have Big Tweed, Jeff Hershey and the Heartbeats, the Pullman, 50 Sticks of Dynamite, and Kyle Hunt and the King Gypsy.
All right, so we know kind of the who and the what and the where, and
Not all the Who, just
Not
most
all-
of the
some
Who.
And we
of
got
the-
some
of the
special
who.
guests coming.
Yeah. So for the fairgrounds, how long? This is an all-day event or all-weekend event? Or?
Yeah, gates are at 10:30, and there's going to be cars, motorcycles, pinup girls. There's going to be vendors selling merchandise, Johnny Cash stuff, and their own products, and it'll be over approximately 6:30.
Okay, well that. So Cindy, back to you. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, so you're daddy's girl. So when you were a girl, what are some other things you did with your dad? Did you ever go on the road with him?
I went on the road with him for about 25 years. I went on the road with him full time for about 8 years and was a regular part of his show. About halfway through his concert, I would come out and do a duet with him, and then that would be his little break, and then he would come back out. I would sing by myself, and then he'd come back out, and I would go back off the stage, and it was just this is my little girl, and she's on the road with me moment, you know, and I didn't really want a career in singing. I just wanted to be with him. And I realized when I was about 19 that if I wanted to be with him, I better go on the road. My sister, Roseanne, of course, has a singing career. It wasn't anything I really was interested in. Thank God I could sing well enough to just be on stage with him. I didn't even want to do that, really. He brought me out there 10 minutes before showtime one night. I was 16, and said, "You're going to sing with me tonight." And that's about all the warning I had. So I tried to, sharpen that up a little bit so I didn't have any more surprises like that. But that was what I did. I did that off and on until he retired. I was on stage with him the night of his last performance when he almost, he was very ill that night. No one knew it. He didn't tell people when he felt bad, and I literally had to walk him off the stage, and he never was able to go on stage again. But he continued to make records, lots of them, with Rick Rubin, and I think became bigger than he was in a different way, of course, than in the 50s with the young people. That was so exciting for him. He's really proud of him for that.
Well, Ross and Cindy, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you
him with
for
us.
listening.
Yeah,
And,
if
we'll be
folks
seeing-
want additional information, then go to our website, RoadShowRevival.com.